All right, welcome back to What the Flag. We have so much to catch up on. I'm just going to go to you first, Kenny, because you had Team Spain, your last Team Spain camp. Talk to us a little bit about that because Yaz, her update is pretty much going to be half the episode. So let's just get this done with here.
Yeah, no, it's good, good. Final camp, everyone's in that mode now where it's the last camps before Worlds. Always kind of that happy medium between we need to practice, we need to work out the final kinks, but also, I don't need anyone running full speed. They want to risk any injuries. True story, last year in the camp before, in our last camp before competition, starting QB Monica actually rolled her ankle and could not take part in the remainder of that last camp. That was all last year. So I think there's still some flashbacks and memory from there where I'm like, I don't need that stress again this year. But touch wood, everyone came through unharmed. No athletes were hurt in the production of this training camp. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I think it was good to everything's come together nicely. Everything's clicking, but there's always that kind of excitement to see, if it how it all works out against new opposition, some countries we've never played before, old friends in USA as well. It's going to be there game three, so it's going to be fun. I think the girls are ready. Um, I don't know. I kind of get there, and we'll see what's happening. So excited. Camp was good, great weather. Um, yeah, and looking forward to competitions. You guys got a hand up.
Yeah, I have. I was gonna say, how do you find like the right balance between, keeping a certain intensity at camp because it's like your last one before competition, but also keeping it like chilled out enough that you're not, putting your athletes through any kind of stress sort of leading up to a really big competition. Like, how do you find that balance?
Honestly, there is no happy medium. You can't kind of half speed intensity, like you can't fake it. So, but it's kind of for us it was more managing the number of reps, not going excessively into like game and competitive mode, but being intense in the execution of things. And there's no need for. I think there are some. Everyone's smart, and it's the benefit of having mentally mature players in terms of kind of maybe this is not the time to fight for this particular ball. Like just you can let certain things go and let certain things slide. It would be the same as an NFL team preparing for the Super Bowl. Pre that the practice before is not when you want to be going full tilt at each other, but you need the mental reps. You need and if anything, it's just making sure everyone is keeping the tires warm so that come game one, like where we hit the floor, we hit the ground running.
And then genuine reflection, like considering where we're going to be in, 2-ish weeks' time, do you feel like camp went as well as it possibly could leading up to that? Or do you feel like, once you sort of get to camp, there'll be a few things to like sort of dust off cobwebs and get going?
I think one of the best parts of this particular team, but I think any good team, if I may say so myself, is the ability to always be working, always be, improving, always be getting better. Some people call it the one percenters, whatever you want to call it. So that there's always stuff to work on and refine and add and change and tweak. Um, but really, again, bearing in mind, and the injury piece that I mentioned was not just last year, it was the year before as well. So I was like, I need a final camp before practice to not have someone, potentially hurt who's going to miss out on, you know. Um, so that was the first bit of success. Coming out of camp, everyone's fit and healthy, tick. Um, Everything else is kind of surplus to that. And so I'm happy with where we are. And as I said, it's gonna be good to get the show on the road. All the girls are like, we want to play now. And that's key. Like everyone's just like, we just want to, waiting to, and I'm sure it's not just us, like everyone who's going got to be like, let's get going. Let's
Feels
get
like a
going.
long
Like
time since like big competition.
a big, and really and truly, it's annual, when you really think about it. So I think last year, some teams, cough, cough, got the benefit of two big competitions in Chengdu and then the Continentals.
Mm.
But for most national teams, the real competition is once a year. So everything kind of points to that. And then once it finishes, everyone kind of like regroups, gathers up again, and you start working towards next year. So I think that's going to be changing slowly for, just the flag football environment type deal, um, just the world of flag in general. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I find I say that a lot. It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of countries had camps last weekend. USA, Great Britain, everyone's gonna have a different approach, right? UK, like GB was intense. Like they weren't taking their foot off the gas pedal. Like so, there's just different mentalities when it comes to what readiness looks like. But Yaz, you have had all sorts of adventures over the past week. So take it away, Miss Yasmin.
Where are you
So
going to start? Where are you going to start?
I'm gonna start Thursday, Canton, Ohio. So
Boom.
for those who don't know, the WFA have just acquired a floor. I can't remember how many square feet in the Centre for Excellence that overlooks the Hall of Fame Stadium. So they now have like premises in Ohio, like amazing, great. And it's gorgeous. They for the first time they had the launch party. So Canton weekend is it goes from Thursday to Sunday, and as well as loads of games, it's all about just sort of getting the community together, getting the players together, and giving them an opportunity for one last hurrah before the end of the season. And it started with the meet and greet, which was at the center. I'm sure it's not called the center. It's another word beginning with C, but I'm sure someone will correct me. But it started there, and the premises is gorgeous. They had a DJ like they did last year, a 360 booth, and then we were out on the terrace, and then the terrace literally overlooks the field, so you can see the field, and the stadium was all lit up, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And it's just a really nice like way to kick off a weekend, especially one where so many players like you won't see a lot of time like a lot of the time during the season because they live so far away, and it's just a really good time to catch up. And then did that, and then and then Friday came along, and somehow I told you guys I got entered into the flag team. Now last week, right, my idea of what this flag competition was versus what it was separate. So let me correct some things. I said you have to have a certain ranking to get in. Turns out you can do what you want. The top two teams get a free pass to the second day, which was the Sunday. Everyone is entitled, if they're WFA registered for a team, to enter a team in into the competition.
A free for all.
Yeah, it
Everyone's
is a
welcome.
free for all. And we didn't realize it was free for all until the Sunday when no one from Tampa's tackle team turned up. They had their own flags team. We said, hello, hallelujah. Have a look at the comments on Tampa Bay Inferno's Instagram. Hilarious. Anyway, we'll come back to that. That's Sunday. So we're back on Friday. We play this game. Obviously, confession, guys, I've never played flag properly before. Not with like the proper rules and stuff. These rules were the most hybrid thing I've ever seen in my life. Now they started off legit. We were like, yeah, this is great. By the end of the day, these rules were flaky as hell. It was like a mix of like USA football rules, a little bit of NFL, a little bit of IFAF, a little bit of do what you want. It just depended on basically who your referee crew was. Great fun. There was no contact, but still great fun. Anyway, it was sevens, Kenny. It was sevens. Uh,
I was sold a dream. I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry.
That's
Yeah, I
shocking.
thought it was
Shocking.
fives. Actually, it's probably better it was sevens. Anyway, so I ended up being the center. Fine, no problem. And then in the nice way, Amanda's quite short. So snapping to a short center when you're this tall is hard. Like I just it's hard because you have to be lower. Because automatically when you're in your stance and you snap, because I was snapping from a tackle stance. Come on, don't give me that face. Be serious. I was snapping from a flag stance. I'm not snapping a 2 point. I'm getting ready to run stance.
So
Okay.
you
I
had your
had
other hand in yeah.
yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, it
Okay.
did. Okay. Did my ball get stuck in the turf 3 times? Yes, it did. But it's fine. I perfected that ish by the second day. So we had that. We played, I can't even remember who we played on the first day. We played Philly. That game was a game. It was a something. But we won the first 3 games 28-0. So once you get to 28, they say there's basically no chance that the other team's going to catch up. So you've
Yeah,
won.
mercy rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to 28. Over the course of the weekend, I think it was 7 balls I got thrown and I caught 6.
Let's
I scored a
go.
Yes,
touchdown.
yes.
Now, does my knee really hurt from where someone like laid in front of me and then pulled my tag? Absolutely. Did I make yards? Debatable because the fields kept getting bigger and bigger. But I even for myself, I was like, wow, I feel rather athletic running with this ball. Great stuff. Anyway, so we were on to the next day, and then in the middle was the tackle championship, Minnesota versus Pitt. Now, I know we're not a tackle, we're not a tackle podcast, but one thing I just really have to talk about is like team arrogance. This is not my rant, but I do have a rant. Team arrogance is a thing. Now, you have to be confident as a team. You have to believe in your source. You have to believe that you're going to get there. What you can't do is be arrogant all weekend and then allow a team to come on the field and smack you up the way Minnesota did for Pittsburgh. It was embarrassing. It was really bad. And they can listen to the podcast, and I'd say the same thing to their face. In fact, I did to a couple of their players. I was like, that was embarrassing. You allowed them to like get you on a field. You thought you were going to hit them in the face, and then you didn't do anything. Um, the final score was like 41-14, and one of
Ooh.
those points that Chavez got in the second half was definitely just one of those, let's let her have it because by this point our full strings are on and you're not going to win. They were Minnesota out physicaled them, out muscled them, out schemed them, had clearly been watching film because every single tool that Pittsburgh pulled out of their toolbox, Minnesota had three things ready. And it was like they just had no answers for it. Pittsburgh, however, got on offense and they went, do you know what? We're going to do the exact same thing we've done all season. Oh, it's not working. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to do it again and again and again and again. And there was just no game plan. I've never seen a team so unprepared. And it was embarrassing because all weekend they'd been in the stadium like, yeah, we're going to win. Like, we've got this. This is ours. Now this is ours. Like, we've got this. Like, let's go. Let's have a good thing. And then there's the level of arrogance that they walk around the stadium with. You can't walk around with that level of arrogance and then not back it on the field because now you look silly. Because now when you've lost, everyone's looking at you at the after party like, well, that's what happens when you don't get in the film room. Because clearly you guys never watch film. You had no answer for anything that they wanted to do at all. And you didn't respond to it. Go on, Kenny.
This wouldn't have anything to do with them being your direct rivals on
So then
these.
it does, Kenny, because I'm telling you now, we should never have let that team beat us. Watching them play that game was embarrassing. And I looked at it and I just went, how did we ever let that team beat us? Like, how are we okay with sitting here in the audience watching them be beaten like this and we can turn around and go, oh, yeah, that team beat us? It was trash. It was so bad. Minnesota played excellently. They deserved that win. In fact, they deserved to win it twice because that was that like they absolutely cleaned the floor with them. It was brilliant. It was a great game. I've never been so happy. We obviously sat in Minnesota's side. Now we didn't celebrate ridiculously, but when they scored, I had to give them a good little cheer. Some of their fans that were there were amazing. Their fans travel so well. Minnesota have like a swarm of fans that travel with them. They were amazing. They were supportive. And then Saturday night we got to go out, and it was just so nice to spend so much time with like other players from other teams. Like I love the Divas so much, and I spent so much time with them that weekend. But actually, when it came down to it, when I was on the dance floor, it was actually all of Pittsburgh's D line that I was on the like dance floor with. We had the
The
best,
same ones you just cussed out. The
the
same
same
ones.
ones I just cussed out. Yeah, I would name them as well. Cash, Tyra, do better, do better. Um, but like we had like the best time, and it was so nice. And obviously the All World and All Pro game was also on the Saturday night. So like the Team Australia were out there, some of Team Mexico were out there, and there was just this really nice moment in the night where Americans love like line dancing songs. So there was this really
Obviously.
yeah, obviously. But there was this just really nice moment in the night where like all of us were just on the dance floor. It didn't matter who you were, what team you were, like everyone would just wanted to speak to you, say hello, like make sure they gave you a hug at the end of the night, like tell you how nice it was to see you. And I think, despite all the rivalry, despite the, terrible games that some teams may play, like that night really, really reminds you of like how important it is, like what we play in the sport we do and like why no matter whether we win or lose, it's so important to like make yourself available for those events because they really just do make everything 10 times better. Like you forget about your rival, you forget about the time that this person slapped you around the face or this person jumped onto a pile or this person held you in a play. Like it doesn't matter because like at that moment, like you're all just together having the most amazing time. And then Sunday came around and then that was the final sort of 16 round of 16, 4, 8, no, 8. I can't maths right now, but I can't maths. But it was the
Was it
finals
semis or quarterfinals? How many games
quarters,
till?
so 8, I think. 8.
Yes, eight. Yes. There we go.
Um,
Good job.
so it was that, and then so we beat Pittsburgh. We beat Pittsburgh to to start the day. Um, yeah, really good game. Competitive as always. Like it was really interesting to see. So throughout the Friday competition, we'd seen a lot of a mixture of players. So players that clearly played flag, but also players that clearly played tackle. And they'd just sort of all come together on this stage. But actually, as you got closer to the end of the competition, we realised that a lot of teams has actually signed up flag players specifically to play the game. So when we played, who did we play first? We played Pitt first. We beat them. They didn't have, apart from two of their players, we didn't recognize anyone from their team. So they had like a completely new flag team. And then their sideline is what my rant of the week is this week. And then we played Tampa was our second round game, and honestly, like I was watching them when defense was on, and they were on the other field, and the way they play is just elite. Now we know Tampa is like a hub for, like Florida loves flag, so you knew
Yeah.
they were coming out fighting, and you knew they were going to have a good team. But some of the plays they were running, if anyone wants to go to the WFA flag page, have a look. The flea flicker play that they were running was insane. It was like something out of the longest yard, but with the most skill I've ever seen in my life. Like no one could stop it. It didn't matter who played it, no one could stop it. And I'm sure there was a girl, I think you said her name was Neat.
Neek?
Neat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Big Neat.
Yeah,
She's
I
different.
saw her. I went, I know your face. I said, I know you're not a tackle player. You shouldn't be here.
But she should be a tackle player.
You should
Yeah,
not
she
be here.
could.
This is for
She
tackle
could.
players that are trying
She
to
could
live
be
their
a tackle player. Like
dream. She
yeah,
should be. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
the athleticism is crazy. Could you imagine her as like a tight end or a run or wide receiver?
Yeah.
Dangerous.
She'd crush it.
Brilliant. But she ended up getting overall MVP, of course, because they ended up going to the final against Philly. Because we lost against them. I can't even remember the score. I think it was like 19-0. Some people would say it was my muffled snaps. I would say that it was we were never going to win the game anyway, guys. It was because I was off for
It's a
two
team
drives. We
sport.
still
It's a
didn't
team
score.
sport. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it was just all around like a brilliant experience. Like for the first time I've ever played flag, like all I want to do is go and play it again. Like I have the bug. I want to play. So if anyone's looking for a centaur, I'm joking.
People are always looking. Careful now.
Yeah, like you're not joking. You're not
No,
joking.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not. I
Yes,
didn't even play in
looking for a
braces. I
team.
really looked athletic. I was
Yeah.
gonna put them on. And I was like, no, 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 no. Can't let people know I've got big knees. It was brilliant. Really, really good.
That's
Oh, it
serious.
sounds amazing. I'm so glad you had a good time and that flag is finding its way even more into your heart.
It is. It's right there. It's right there.
And with that, we're going to bring it around to your rant of the week. So take it away.
Okay, so I am all for a little bit of competitiveness, a little bit of sideline chirping. But after you have just lost the game twice, may I add, because you lost on Saturday and then you lost against us on Sunday. I'm at in Pittsburgh. Yep.
Again. Bap. Let's go. Good.
Do not sit on our sideline and be coming with your over the top celebrations when we're not winning. Because now you're my friend. Lose my number. Because why are you behaving like that? We're meant to be friends. There's competitiveness. There's, oh yeah, good. Like I want to cheer for the other team. E.g., us cheering for Minnesota. Yeah. But now you're sitting on the sidelines giving me sarcastic claps and you're leaning over the side to make sure that we know that we've done something wrong and celebrating, laughing and jeering. Lose my number because now you're not my friend. We're all competitive in this sport, but you have to learn how to be competitive and fair. Don't be an idiot, guys. I can't be doing it. It's not my bag. I don't like it. We're already rivals. Don't give me another reason to rival you, you know? We were friends. We went out, we went to the club. We shook hands. We were dancing. Everyone was
The
friends.
club.
Now it's Sunday. Now you want to heckle me on the sideline, but not funny heckle because I'm not laughing, so it's not funny. And I'm quite easy to entertain. Don't do that
Was
because
it?
you
Is it?
you lost twice.
Is it an American thing? Yes.
Yes.
I think it is, and I think there's the British in me can't handle it to that extent.
Can't look
A
back.
nice polite clap. Woo, yes, you scored, other team. Yeah, at the end, fine. Don't be leaning over, going, yeah, yeah. No, I can't take that now. We're not friends. Lose my number.
Fair enough.
And then there's don't be an idiot.
The Yaz has spoken. Facts.
Yeah, Pitt, I'm looking at you. I'll see you next year. Bye.
So was that breaking news? Are you going to see them next year? Is that a thing?
I don't know, man. It's you can't retire on a non-championship.
I mean, if you can time it for the NFL flag championships for the week before, then yeah,
I
we
mean,
can make this work.
I can't say too much because what if my job finds my podcast?
Hopefully this podcast gets so big, that
Yeah,
whole real life job thing.
yeah. The head
Who needs
teacher at my
that?
school's listening, like, oh, isn't this Yasmin?
Isn't it?
We hire her. Oh yeah, yeah. I look, never say never. There's nothing like, how do I say this? It doesn't feel right to end this way, considering how football is generally at the moment. It feels wrong to end this way. So if there's a way to make it work, then we'll see what the next year brings. But for now, it will just be we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. But flag, you will see me. You will
Good,
see me.
good. Our call training every Tuesday and Thursday. Let's go.
Definitely. I need something to do with my weeks.
Amazing. All right, so the last section here, it was going to kind of talk about a bunch of different things. I think we wanted to chat NFL flag championships. I mean, overall, like just getting the numbers back alone from ESPN was crazy. Like 14.3 million fans over the weekend, but the
Easy.
most watched NFL flag game on record was the high school girls division, the championship, with 1.12 million watching it. Like the boys had about 600,000. Like it's crazy to think how many people are so invested in girls flag. And I think that stands out more than anything. We had the international division as well, 13 different countries represented. And then on the men, like on the boys side, 15U Boys International, Canada goes and wins it, flight school, bringing home that dub, which has always been a funny one anyways when it comes to Canada because like they've been in and out of being considered international for a couple years. So for them to be back and to win it and Canada's made it to the finals about three different times against Team Mexico because Mexico is still just one of the best. So for Canada to bring it home in like some pretty big like just ways, and then same for the girls division, which is kind of the first time they've done that, having Mexico, Panama in the final. I mean, again, two of the best, but like Mexico, their 15U team, I mean, their quarterback, they have two quarterback system, and their quarterbacks also played on defense and had the most, I think between them had four interceptions on defense. Like
Crazy.
it was just incredible. And Panama did it, they were great. Like their team was pretty much made up of the national program, but it's so hard to stop like this Mexico like Tochito style, having fun, running around. Like I don't know how you get to a level where you're matching the amount of times that they're playing. And I think we talk about this all the time. Like, how do we get more meaningful games for our youth so that they develop those like in skill games? I mean, yes, you would have seen that just playing last weekend. Like, you have the game experience, and I know the rules were changing, but surely every game you were learning and getting better and like figuring out
Yeah.
these like nuanced moves.
Yeah, you learn so much. I think it's just really important to get involved in things like this. Like when you watch from a sideline, you get half of it. But I think you never really get the full experience or start to really learn the finesse of it until you join in. Like, there are certain things that I learned with my snap that I could do that I didn't know I could that were possible. And like when I was running routes and like running with my hips, I was like, hee hee. Hee. And then like even just ways you can throw yourself around on defense. I didn't play on defense, thank God. Um, but like just watching sort of how our defense developed from the beginning of the day when we were playing one team to the end of the day, and the different ways we were pressing them and the different ways we were covering the receivers and how the switches worked and like things like that were it's not really things you consider in tackle because there's always just the physical. I think there's a lot more. I don't know if thinking is the right word, but I'm going to say it for now. But there's a lot more like thinking, a lot more strategy behind it because the contact isn't involved. It's very different when you can just throw your body into something because, if technique fails, hopefully your body's just going to get there anyway. But there's so much more to that in flag, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So to hear the amount of like interceptions and stuff, especially when it comes to timing, because some of those quarterbacks throw like absolute bullets. Like some of those balls are really fast. I got hit on the hip with a ball this weekend and I thought I was going to die. So
Was
like,
it meant to go to you or did it ricochet off?
it was
Was it the one you dropped? Was
no,
it the
it,
one
it
you?
wasn't. It wasn't even meant to be my ball, and I knew it because I ran the route. I went, "Oh, I'm not meant to be at." Like I was like, I was just thinking that I wasn't meant to be here, and then the ball got thrown, and like the point of the ball hit my hip, and I thought that's it. I'm gonna need a hip replacement. So like so like even things like that to be able to like track the ball in the air and know where it's going and things like that like are incredible. And I think as well for this sport for flag, it's such a fine line between when you're going to get a flag for contact and when you're not. I think it can be quite subjective, and it definitely was subjective at some points this weekend. Like in both games, I watched. I want to say it was the women's Jets game, and it was number 9, and she went to flag a player out of bounds, but this player just turned around into her, and the collision was crazy. But obviously they flagged her. I was like, "Pfft, that looks like fair game to me." To be fair, I was that looked like great,
That
great.
would have been the one where it was the Texans versus the Jets. That one with Emery Beckett and Emery Beckett, the angles were not great but she threw, so that was the quarterback who threw the interception, who
Yeah,
then went to go pull, I think, Grace Anderson's flag, and it was a full-on truck.
honestly, I've never seen someone hit the floor so quick. It
No.
was insane. It was like running into a brick wall. Brilliant, brilliant highlight.
It
Come.
was great. It was great. I mean, obviously for a flag, it's non-contact, guys. But it just shows how much it means to this team to like truly just be successful. And the Texans went on to lose in the finals. And like it was a total upset because the Seattle Seahawks, who are Conquer SoCal, so Conquer have like they're known for being a solid team on the West Coast. We've been friends with Ryan Bertoni, who kind of runs the leagues out there for a long time. And they had a couple players, Smitty, and Coach Smith, who coaches UCLA as well, their club team, and then Ava Ortman. And they were like, we can't drive 3.5 hours to get to practice. And they're like, well, why don't you guys just start your own team up there? And it'll be like a chapter of Conquer. So they created this like LA Conquer team because they wanted a place for these two girls, the quarterback and the top receiver, to go. And I mean, they were the MVP of that whole game. And we hadn't really had them on our fields at all. We'd kind of had them what they were calling like the JV fields. We hadn't had them on ESPN. And honestly, they came in and like they were unstoppable. Ava Ortman was so fun to watch. And I just think it brings a lot of attention to just an exciting like new team that's come up. It's not just the Texans, it's not just the Bad Rabbits and from Calexico. And, I think it was interesting to see that the Bad Rabbits, who normally are playing the Texans in the final, I mean, they lost to the Seahawks and they just couldn't get anything going. And Azul Trujillo is still one of the best quarterbacks out there. Like I love to watch the way that she plays. So you think the level of this competition, how it's going to grow and grow over the next few years is incredible. But I mean, we had so much media there. Friday, Pat McAfee was there. We had Good Morning America. Sports Center was going crazy. Katie Feeney, AJ Green. I mean, like the list doesn't stop. Daniel Jones presented the trophy to the boys. Shane Steichen was there in studio. Like all the Colts. I mean, Kalen Jackson, like one of the owners of the Colts, was there. And even Hannah McNair, the like owner of the Texans, flew in from Texas on her plane to support the girls, then flew out after. I was like, who has two female owners on the sideline supporting him? Like, this is so incredible.
Amazing. I just wanted to circle back to when you said like they just can't like they just couldn't get the game going. And it was definitely something that we kind of experienced on Sunday when we played. And I think it's really important like to think about and consider is like one thing about flag I think that maybe as a tackle player are definitely overlooked is that you don't necessarily have the benefit of like a Swiss Army knife to draw on when it comes to getting your game going. Like there's sometimes can be such small windows of opportunity. Like are all of your receivers covered? Like the route that you want to throw, is it fourth and long and you really have to get to that halfway point and the windows of opportunity can be so small in this game. Whereas like in tackle sometimes, oh let's just grind it out there, we'll shove it behind the O line, like, we'll run a wedge, we'll run a dive. Like there's so many I guess when you have 11 players on the field and like their jobs are so like different, you have so many more things to draw from. But I think one thing I didn't realize about flag is that it can be really stagnant and there are moments when you really have to like think on your feet, like how are we going to get back towards the quarterback? Like, can the quarterback run? And then once someone has the ball, like, you kind of waiting, like, do I run alongside them? Like, because I can't block anyone, I can't move anyone out of the way. I just kind of have to wait for something to happen. And I think there's like a whole side of the game that maybe is as a non-player and maybe someone who has only really watched from the sidelines, like has never really appreciated like how much more, I guess, thinking there is because you have like so many like less options on the field. Like what are we gonna do in this situation? How are we gonna get it going? And like the fact that I guess circling back to what you were saying about, like the team owners like coming out and seeing this like this game that, started off like in high schools and like was so small because you get so many people in America like, oh, I've played this for like, 70 years since I was like a child back on the farm, like whatever. But like it's just crazy to think how in a couple of years, even just since we've been doing this podcast, like how much it's come along and the level of publicity and the level of accessibility. Like the game on Sunday, the final was shown on ESPN2, and like even just knowing that was an opportunity that was there for the people who want to play. And we went into a bar for lunch after we'd finished and that's when I text you and I looked up and I was like, oh look, like they're on the screen, like there you go, I'm watching more flag. Like it's just amazing that all of those opportunities are a thing and available for like all of us to be a part of. So
Yeah.
I don't know about anyone else, but all I keep hearing is basically to play flag, you need to be more intelligent. Flag requires more intelligence. It requires more thinking, more speed. You got to be more technically
now
sound.
you know how the O-line
Basically,
always feel, Kenny. Because you've got to make up for that intelligence somewhere or other.
that no
But it
comment.
is hard, like in terms of even the different rule sets. Like we were playing NFL flag rules, and so there's a lot of nuances to that, and definitely things that like you would want to change. Like we had a game where it was a delay of game on the offense. They were going in to score, but delay of game is a loss of down in NFL flag. And so
Yeah.
therefore that's it. That was their attempt. Game's done for them.
Yeah,
Like you have things like that. There's some other kind of tricky ones we've had.
when the ball hits the floor on your snap, it's not just like
Yeah.
you can't just pick it up and carry on going. I was like,
No.
but what's going on? They were like, no,
Yeah.
I was like, nah, it's taking us down away.
Yeah. That's why the center's so important because if you don't get a snap, like there is no play.
No
Like
one told me that before I started playing FY. I had to learn that the hard way by being shouted at by my quarterback. It was great.
would you go end or
My
center after
mom
a
just
while?
got here today. Two guesses who my center was, guys.
Mm,
Two
mm.
guesses.
We don't need to out people.
Okay, sorry. Sorry. No one out. Sorry. Sorry, Pitt. Love
But I just cool to see like how flag's taking off and it's going to get bigger and better every single year. And it's thanks to everybody out there that's making it happen. So
Yeah, for real.
from all of us at What the Flag, we will be back next week for more What the Flag madness as we preview the IFAF World Championship. So make sure to stay tuned for more and like, subscribe, and ring the bell.